start demonstrating the semantic mediation container with the installation phase. The semantic mediation container is a WAR module which runs as a plugin to Tomcat server. Tomcat server could run, for instance, on a Ubuntu Linux, and that could be embedded within a Docker image. Docker is a virtual machine container that can run Docker images, and that can work on any computer, such as a laptop, a desktop, a server, Mac, Windows, Linux. It will work with a client, which is a web browsing or a web API client, that will work with the main computer and whose calls will be forwarded into the Docker image and then serviced by the Tomcat server, and thus function with the semantic mediation container. Of course, the computer can also be a virtual computer hosted on the cloud, or we can have the Docker container itself on the cloud for a totally virtual environment. Now, the clients that work with the semantic mediation container could be, for instance, any tool, but specifically with this installation, we support also the Protege, which is our ontology editor. And for that, we will provide a Protege SMC plugin. And likewise, Rhapsody, which is a SysML modeling tool, which can work with the semantic mediation container. For that, we provide a plugin for Rhapsody, which is the Rhapsody SMC plugin. Let's start with the installation. We're looking at the resources on the internet. We go into the Symbiosis intranet. Within Work Packet 3, we have a Work Packet 3 platform, and this platform consists of the semantic mediation container folder. This folder contains resources and installation instructions. Let's first go to the resources. Over there we have the second element. Here is the WAR file that we have to download. Let's click on it and start downloading the dm.war file. While it is being saved, we will look again at the resources and we will also take down the Protege plugin. In our wiki, we now look at the installation instructions. This page contains explanations how to work with Docker. This is the link to Docker, whose homepage is here. We will not dwell too much here. After we have downloaded our resources, we will need to create a file named Docker file. We'll do it in a minute. We have to paste this text into it. We will use the dm.war file that we have already downloaded, and we'll have to follow the instructions over here. For the Macintosh, we have special things to be done, which are described here. We will go into this page every now and then to finish things. Now we use a terminal where we can start our Docker by well, first let's move to the folder where I have all the resources. This is in my documents workspace SMC D37. I have here all my resources, including the Docker file. Let's open this Docker file. I have already pasted the content from the instruction page, and I'm ready to start the Docker. So over here I'll run boot to Docker app, which will start with the Docker. This is explained over here, boot to Docker app. And second thing is to run this particular instruction that will set up the environment variables. So I'm running boot to Docker app. This starts up the Docker. And the next thing is to make sure that these variables are exported. They describe the virtual machine, IP address, and so forth. Various things needed for that. So here is the eval that takes the instruction for the boot to Docker, and it will set up all these variables. Now if I run Docker command images, I can see that I have already a Tomcat image, which is 357 megabytes large. It takes a longer time to create it depending on your network speed. So I have prepared it ahead of time, and it is going to be reused whenever the Docker is used, because the Docker is really building the images from layers of older images that are up to date, and this one is up to date on my computer. So I need to run the command shown here, the main page, which is docker build -t SMC. So I paste it over here. I have here somehow the paste doesn't work with, so I have to type it by myself, SMC dot, and it starts creating the Docker. This one runs pretty fast because it only needs to download a program, a few tools, and a program for graphic rendition of graphs, and then add the existing Tomcat image and the dm.war file that is already on my disk. This installation will finish very soon, and we will be able to then look to see what images are on my computer. It is finished. Now Docker, the images will have also the SMC image here, which is about 80 megabytes bigger than just a Tomcat. If I do Docker history of SMC, we can see all the layers that have been built into this image. All right, so at this point we can run it. In my description here, I need to take this command, docker run. I hope that copying it from here will be okay. This is the command docker run. I give it a name, SMC. I'm using the image called SMC from this repository, and it started. So now docker ps is the command to see what's running, and this is the image which is currently running on the computer using port 8080. I need to do one more thing. In fact, I can do like curl now to my local, to my virtual machine. We know that boot to Docker command IP will give me the IP address 192.168.59, so I can do curl to 192.168.59.103 port 8080, and it will respond with something. If I try to open this on my 192.168.59.103 8080, it will open up on my browser to open up this address. So this is the Tomcat. This is the Tomcat opening page. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to make sure that this port is exposed from my machine to the outside, so I can run clients outside of my machine here. For that, I need to run another command here. It's described in the instruction page for Apple. As you can see, I need to run this vboxmanage command. It does return me some errors, but you will see that if I try to open now my local host, it will also work well. And I can also try to do this open rather than localhost to my full name, which is shanimac ibm.com, and it also opens up, so it is now known from outside. I can also go to another computer I have on the network, which is a PC computer, and see if I can get into this one. And indeed, I have the same screen. Okay. Now the remote computer here doesn't have good graphics, so we will go back to our local browser, but this time we will try to start the Semantic Mediation container. This is running under DM and SM. These are the path for starting the dashboard for the Semantic Mediation container. And here it is. There's not much here, but we have only one ontology, which is a built-in ontology, as we can see here on this row here. And we also have one repository, which is a repository for attachment, which is also built-in repository. And the rest, we don't have any rules, we don't have any tools and any mediators or any friends in this dashboard. We will explain this dashboard later on. In the meantime, let's go to the Protégé and see how it can be used. So for that, I'm opening my file browser here. In the applications, I have Protégé installed here. In the Protégé installation folder, there is one folder called plugins here, and in this plugins folder, I've already placed the jar file that I've downloaded from the wiki page. This one. This is the jar that represents our SMC plugin for Protégé. Now, when I'm running Protégé, like on this run command, you can see here on the terminal window which is opened that indeed it started the SMC plugin. And when the plugin is installed properly, then you will have this window which gives access to the Semantic Mediation container. We can set the URL, which is 59.103 over here for this port, and we're using no authentication. So click on refresh from server, shows up that it's succeeded, and there is only one ontology, which is a built-in ontology that is read-only, cannot be altered from here. Thank you. This concludes our demonstration. In the next demonstrations, we will show how to create ontologies, rules, and do some mediation.